Why are you so slow? Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. Is I your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I am joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
What's popping?
It's popping.
It's popping?
Me.
I was thinking about this when... I was thinking about this when I was in mid-intro, that we have to update our video sound bites.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We have
Yeah.
And then
Big meaty man slapping meat.
those, we don't have any of those that are newer with any of the wrestlers that we talk about on here 24/7. So
I know.
I think it's a goal for 2025.
Well, that's why this one. I really want to clip him when he was like, yeah. I want to get that one.
I like the
Yeah. I love
that one's an all-timer.
I was dying when Triple H released the video of him trying to put together his and Jacob's entrance.
Oh my god.
And
awesome.
They're like going through the motions so like they can understand where the lights need to be.
Yeah.
And Tama is just like like on there, but it's like and it's Triple H is like, yeah, so we're gonna need the spotlight here or whatever. And he's like, yeah. It's like he's just
like,
it's so funny. I was like, I love it. So
he's probably one of the most underrated Bloodline members across both 2.0 and OG.
That's why I've said I'm sad that people disrespect the Bloodline 2.0 because they're like the only good one is Jacob. No,
not even close. These two Samoans are going to wreak havoc across.
And Tongan. Well, is he Tongan?
Samoan, Tongan, tomato, potato.
Islander.
Same. Tomato, potato. Like they're going to just dominate the entire roster. I see them strapping gold on them at some point because how can you not? I mean, Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman was exactly what it should have been. It was exactly what it should have been.
This is the thing, okay? So like I was kind of having somewhat of an argument with somebody after Saturday night's main event, ironically. And it was because of all the people arguing that Gunther shouldn't have retained. It should have gone to Jey Uso. Gunther's so boring. He sucks. He's this or that. And somebody said to me, he doesn't even get a reaction when he comes out. Like nobody cares. And I'm like, he's a heel.
Who? Jacob doesn't?
Gunther.
Gunther's not going. Okay,
and I was like, he's a heel. And then they're like, yeah, but like Jacob Fatu is a heel and like he gets a lot of reaction. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. Okay.
It's
Jacob
really
Fatu,
different.
when he was rumored to be going to WWE, people were so excited. They knew that he was inevitably going to be put in the Bloodline, but nobody wanted him to be a bad guy because people wanted to cheer for him. So he was kind of forced upon us in a bad guy role that we didn't want to see him in necessarily because we want to cheer for him. So like, that's why people react to him. Why do you think some people even react to Tama the way that they do and they do the yay thing with him? It's again like people didn't necessarily want to boo him. So it's like it's not the same. And
It
like,
is apples and oranges.
and if we're gonna really go about it, right? Like we're gonna have a bigger conversation about the opening segment of Raw, but Gunther's out there. Gunther was getting cheered for over Logan Paul. You
I
guys want to
mean,
tell me that no one cares about Gunther? If they
I think-
didn't, they wouldn't have been cheering anything dude had to say. So it's like you guys you're lacking context when we're like comparing, bad guys to bad guys, whatever. It's not this. It's just not the same.
Sarah, what do I say all the time? I think I'm gonna put it on a T-shirt in 2025. Wrestling fans
Fickle.
lack the ability. Well, that too.
I think that's
But
better
they-
description.
We're gonna say that because I'm gonna be nice. I'm feeling nice today, Sarah.
They're
I'll just say you're
fickle.
fickle.
And
I'm
even
not gonna use the critical thinking line. They're
Well,
fickle.
I think it's over. Oh, critical thinking is overused now. It's so much. It's so used in politics. That's why it's like,
Yeah.
Okay. But fickle.
I don't get that.
Fickle is funny because you can also connect it to Daniel Bryan because he was doing that.
Fickle. That's back to the video.
I can even admit that I can be fickle. I love Damian Priest, and the second he became a good guy, I was like, "Fuck this guy. He's so annoying."
I think I talked that out with you on here.
Yeah, I'm like
we talked this out.
So I get it, but
we get it. That's the beauty of being a wrestling fan.
But anyway, do you want to just jump into Raw?
Well,
we'll say hi. We'll say hi.
You gotta acknowledge the peeps because they acknowledge us by joining and talking Raw with us in the chat. Curvin, the build for men's Rumble compared to the build for women's Rumble. Oh, that's been talked about, and I agree, but that's the story. I don't know. Sarah and Pat, Lakers. No, I hope they lose. And the Royal Rumble winner predictions are CM Punk so he can face Cody at WrestleMania or The Rock if he comes back. I don't want to see CM Punk take on The Rock. All right, that was so 2014.
Or The Rock wins.
No. Okay, well, that's why you need to tune in on Wednesday this week.
Tomorrow.
Announcement. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay,
tomorrow.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just got my days right. Tomorrow, predictions for the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sarah and I get even a bigger announcement that this week we are going to be guests on Ringside Rants.
Oh, baby.
Stadium Rants wrestling podcast where Sarah, I you know me. I'm all about trying to be nice to the peeps, acknowledge all that. I think that we are the tribal chiefs, to say the least.
I'm a tribal queen. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, in Spanish they use the masculine for plural for both, so that's never mind. Point is, we are going on that show, and make sure you follow us on social media to know where to find that. Sophia, I hope you do. I hope you guys do wear matching John Cena shirts because it's the start of the John Cena farewell tour.
Yeah, there's a new Funko pop out today too for John Cena. If you guys are interested, use our link in the bio to buy it. I bought it. I bought two. I bought one for me and one by my sister. Also, I bought the Gunther one because there's Gunther. So the newer ones, Gunther, Io Sky, LA Knight. And I think they have a new Shawn Michaels. They have a Stacy Keibler.
I did hear about the Shawn Michaels one.
And I forget what else. But I only got the Gunther one. Because when it comes to wrestling Funkos, I try to only get my favorites. Otherwise, like, I would have an entire wall full. So I try to limit myself to just my all-time favorites. So
you have limited space, such a finite space. So until we get that massive office.
Yeah.
Things looking up. Bernard was popping. See you Thursday, my dude. Eagles over Chiefs, Nathaniel. I will agree with that. So. Anyone but the Chiefs. Anyone but the fucking Chiefs. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Won't do it. And then we should put what's popping on a shirt. I just don't know how. Maybe with my tomato and potato little friends that I made back in 2021. I think I had someone sketch that out for me.
Shirts that is like what the Judgment Day had, where it was like Finn and JD, or it was Finn and Dominic and Rhea and where it had like
yeah.
I should get one, but I should do like the nicknames So it's like Finn Balor and JD McDaddy.
That's what we make on. There you go. That's not a bad
but
idea.
just for me. That doesn't have to go
You don't
to
want to sell that? I think people might be interested.
People don't agree with me. I was getting so much hate talking about JD McDonough last night because I call him JD McDaddy.
How will you get okay.
Because people don't see it. Because they don't see it. They don't appreciate a god, you know?
I was about to say, how can you hate JD McDonough after what he did last night? That man put on a hell of a performance. But we got to talk about this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Before we talk about
Mhm.
JD McDonough. Sarah,
Yeah.
you take it away, because I came up with the banner after seeing Bronson Reed's tweet.
Yeah.
And I was like, Bronson, I couldn't agree more, pal. So I'm just going to put it on our show.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We were talking about fans being fickle. We got an immediate display of fans being fickle based on Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins kicked off the show. He's out there talking the talk about being in the Rumble, who he wants to eliminate, blah, blah, blah. The second he mentions CM Punk, the crowd starts going crazy for CM Punk. And I'm like, you guys are so fickle. Like, you can't be like okay with just cheering for Rollins. We have to then like be like, no, I support CM Punk instead. Like, that's what we got to do. But then it became straight up Seth Rollins once Gunther came out and was like, ha ha ha, like, I'm the champion, you're not. You haven't even been trying to go for the title. Like, where have you been? Like, okay. And then I totally forgot about Logan Paul being announced to be on Raw, and so unfortunately his dumb music hits. I hate his song so bad.
Yo!
And
Seth looked confused. Seth looked confused.
Yeah, it was like, why?
He didn't know who's coming out.
But I have to. Okay, so this is the thing. It's like the level of heat he was getting. Okay, the crowd's reaction, Dom level. Okay, and I love that. Like, Dominic is now like a standard. You know, it's like peak level hatred, right?
Awesome.
And I want to so badly give Logan Paul credit for that. However, when we're talking about like earning that, I wouldn't necessarily say that in a wrestling sphere, Logan has earned that. The reason he gets booed is because people just don't like him as a real person. You know what I mean? It's
He's
not
getting
like
that Jericho heat.
Yeah, like literally people hate you. So that's why they're booing you. Like, I want to give him credit, but like when then I compare to like how Dominic elevated himself to getting that kind of
different
reaction, it's like he worked his way to get there. Logan didn't. Logan just showed up and people were booing. But that crowd in Atlanta wanted absolutely nothing to do with him, despite the fact that Gunther was also in the ring, which that is crazy. But anyway, Logan was just out there to talk his trash, say that he was going to go into the Royal Rumble. Not just that he's going to win the Royal Rumble. And after Gunther said he hopes, you know, if Seth wins that he challenges him, he's like, you know what? Actually, no, I hope that you win, Logan, and you challenge me. And that was when the crowd got behind Gunther. And I was like, yes.
Could you imagine just Gunther taking chop after chop after chop to Logan Paul? That would bring so much joy to wrestling fans.
True. I don't love it as a Mania match for Gunther. So that's the thing, is like, if that is a match that happens eventually, sure, but I'm not interested for that at Mania. But I will say, even though Logan Paul deserves to be tsunami'd, and you know, unfortunately Bronson Reed is not here to do it. I do like that they are putting him in the Royal Rumble instead of him just coming out there and demanding a match. Hopefully that's what happens and that's what they stick to. So like whatever his match is at WrestleMania, assuming he's gonna have a match at WrestleMania, it's not them just handing him, you know, the champion that isn't picked by the Royal Rumble winner. Because that was something that we thought was going to happen, because he's already said, oh, I can face them whenever I want. I'm going to come out and face Gunther. I'm going to challenge him, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, we can't go about that in that way. You shouldn't have that right at this point, especially like during the Royal Rumble and like leading to Mania. Like, no, that's not the time. That's not the appropriate time for you to come out and use that card, you know? So I'm glad that they're like, no, you're in the Mania match and you have to earn it like everybody else.
No, he needs to be in the Royal Rumble match. That's how you get asses in seats. He is that draw, and I love the fans acknowledging him and hating on him just because he's Logan Paul and not
Mm.
because he's supposed to be the bad guy.
I
And
know.
the reaction was so genuine, and hate him or love him, that's the type of reaction you want from your fans. So having him in these situations where going up against Seth and then Gunther, where to the point people just are cheering Gunther
Mhm.
because they want to see him kick Logan's ass.
Yeah.
He does make a good point too when he said that he doesn't need to eliminate 29 superstars. He just needs to eliminate one.
So that's
That
the
was
thing.
that was a huge line to drop.
So okay, so I'm curious what that means. So I think that might mean he's 30. Could be that he's number 30,
Oh,
right?
okay, so you're going.
Easily. Because I mean, at this point, we don't know the surprise returns, at least. We believe are going to be the women. There's no one that I think that we can really think of that would be a surprise return for the men. At this point, like I don't know, like I mean, I guess if Ilya Dragunov somehow returns after only 4 months, but like I don't know, like if that's possible. So saving number 30 for like a big return doesn't seem likely, in my opinion, for the men, at least from what we know. So Logan Paul could easily be 30, or we're gonna see Logan do the old trickaroo, where he goes under the bottom rope and just like kind of chills, like either underneath the ring or like at commentary and just like watches the match until he thinks that he can get in and dominate, and then obviously he gets eliminated.
You're gonna hate me for saying this.
What?
But I would rather see that than him at 30. Like if we're gonna have Logan Paul be in the Rumble and we're trying to milk the cow for all it's worth, give him some time on commentary with Pat McAfee and just see that banter go. And even Michael Cole could be interesting. Have him go under the ring and then have a spot similar to when Zelina Vega and Hornswoggle. So like you're having him part of the match where he can be that B side, the B story of the match, so that when you need to focus your energy back into who's going to be next, are we going to get a big return? You've came down from it. I like the idea a lot.
Yeah, I think that gets him like more hate,
Oh my god, so much heat.
It feels just like that's the easiest way for them to accomplish what he said. I mean, they don't have to do what he said, but of course, like if they're trying to get him to be hated, then
if we're trying to follow the story in front of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously we'll talk more about what we think might happen at the Rumble tomorrow at the same time. So
bet your bottom dollar that we'll talk tomorrow.
So the Sami Zayn storyline. We're gonna talk about it later, okay? Obviously because
of
what
jab.
Happened. But I am telling you,
that was a jab.
I am really looking forward to the Royal Rumble for a multitude of reasons, and one of them is Sami Zayn, because I think we're getting to the point of Sami Zayn just like not given a single F, okay? Because the fact that he came out and really hit Punk where it hurts, because he squared up to him as Punk was being interviewed backstage, and let him know that, hey, I know you said that we're not on the same level, and you're right. You know why? Because I've actually main evented a WrestleMania. And he didn't even have to say, and by the way, you haven't. Wow. It was like, oh yeah.
That's understood. Understood. I love it.
So I was so here for this because I've been saying I love Sami Zayn. I've said it a million times. He is in one of my favorite matches of all time. So I love Sami. But I kind of have gotten bored of him recently. And I feel like we're getting to a point where we might finally see the story arc like at the Rumble. We can talk about it tomorrow, but this felt like a setup for what might be coming on Saturday. Because he went after like the internet wrestling fans' darling in CM Punk. It's not easy to do that and still get people to love what you're doing or love what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
I have a question to ask. That's why I've been kind of silent over
okay.
here. My thoughts, because
Mm,
one leads into the other. After Sammy throws that nice jab
mhm.
at CM Punk, he's confronted by Karrion Cross, and Karrion Cross like, see, Sammy, you're kind of
Mhm.
going to your ways. Like, how does that feel and all that? Do we sense a little bit of what has already happened with the New Day, Ray,
See, this is what I'm saying.
Nakamura?
I think we're going to see what happens on Saturday. I mean, do you want to talk about it right now? I mean, we can talk about the end of the show right now.
What?
What happened
Oh, that
after?
Sammy stuff. Oh, I mean, yeah, we can go right. Yeah, we can just transition right
Okay,
into it. Yeah.
obviously this is like the main event. We can talk about the main event in a second. But um Sammy speaks to Seth Rollins earlier in the show. Obviously last week we saw that Sammy hit the haluva kick accidentally on Seth Rollins. And
Mhm.
Seth was like, "All right, I'm accepting that. I'm accepting your explanation, your apology, whatever. We're cool. However, if this happens again, it's not I'm gonna question it, right?"
We're gonna have issues.
Yes.
Yes.
So this week, instead of it being Seth Rollins, it's Cody Rhodes. And this is already after Mr. Kevin Owens came out and attacked him. After Cody was having a conversation with CM Punk. So I really think I've said this. Didn't I say this last week or the week before? I think
Maybe.
Sammy is going to get involved in the WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble. I don't know in what capacity. I don't know how successful he will be. I don't think that it needs to be successful. I think the way that the Rumble is usually set up, you don't really know what the main event is going to be because typically it has been the men's Royal Rumble match is the main event. However, there is a title match that is happening and it's a ladder match. So I think that's going to rival the Rumble match as potentially the real main event. So we don't know yet. I don't know. But my prediction based off of what we've seen, because this is now 2 weeks in a row that Sammy has accidentally kicked somebody. The end shot of him standing next to Kevin with Cody, in the corner. I think we're going to see Sammy do something where I would love for it to be obvious, but it might not be obvious, where he's going to try to help Kevin retain or get the title, like retain, like be the real legitimate champion. And that is because he's going to want to put himself first. He wants that Mania main event against Kevin Owens. He's tired of people saying that he's like everybody's best friend and doing things for everybody. No, Sammy is putting himself first. And we just saw a glimpse of this. He did it to Seth Rollins, who's been talking trash to him and being like, you're an idiot because you keep doing this and why aren't you doing anything for yourself? He does it to Cody Rhodes, and Cody was another one that was like in his corner but being like, come on, like you need to
fight for yourself.
Yes. So this to me is him like, you know what? The only person that I know that always has my back, even through the darkest times, is Kevin Owens. He is telling me, even if I know it's in a manipulative manner, that if I help him win these titles, I'm going to be the guy that he challenges, or I can challenge him for Mania. I need to see it happen. Like I said, it doesn't have to work. We need to see the effort from Sammy because the effort speaks enough for it to make an impact, in my opinion. It doesn't have to lead to Kevin being the champion. As long as you see Sammy tried, I think that is like a huge,
the effort
huge
is
moment.
Yeah, the effort is what we're going for here. I have to agree with that. Yeah, I had a question, but I forgot it. So,
Yeah. So
cool.
I don't know.
Cool.
I mean I think, like I said, from everybody that we have seen Cody feud with and have title matches against in the past, 8 months, 9 months, Kevin Owens feels like the one highest chances of taking the title off of him.
Mhm.
But I don't know that will happen because of that argument you spoke about last week about the idea of Cody not walking into Mania as champion is kind of hard for me to envision.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, in a dream world, I would love for Sammy to go like full throttle into being selfish Sami Zayn and like ensuring that Kevin Owens wins. I just don't know that we're going to see that because of the circumstances and like who the champion is right now. And we're only
Exactly.
a couple months from Mania. But
Yeah.
I just want to see the effort. I
They
will
already
be
mentioned.
so
They already
excited.
mentioned something about Cody being at 300 days last night, and that is a telltale sign that okay, we're not just taking the belt off him for a storyline purpose. You know what I mean? It feels like
I
there's a significance.
I have kind of a weird prediction. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. Like I have a feeling of a weird scenario that's going to happen in the ladder match. But I'll save it for tomorrow because then we can have a conversation about that. Anyway, let's see. Nathaniel's not sure about Sammy turning heel. I think he has to.
Got to do it.
I think
Got to
he's
rip the
so
Band-Aid
boring
off
right now.
He's cursed. It's already there.
Well-
Cross has corrupted him.
And let's say I would not be surprised if my guess happens on Saturday, right? Like, Nathaniel says he doesn't see it, but he wouldn't mind.
Good, you're open to it.
I think that there is a way for him to still try to help Kevin, and then he's still teetering like in between being a good guy and a bad guy, kind of like what he was when he was in the Bloodline. You know, where it was like,
it's a full turn.
No, hold on. What I'm saying is like he could be like that at first, where he's like, I wasn't trying to do anything, or like I was just trying to help my friend, or like I was putting myself because like I've never had a match like that at Mania. But then it's like either the reaction from the crowd or the reaction from people backstage being like, what the hell were you doing? That is what changes him like completely, is what I mean. Like I could see him trying to play innocent at first and then it flipping. Which I don't care, as long as we see like full-blown bad guy Sami Zayn.
Okay, go all in. Okay,
I want to see it. Yeah,
I want to see it all in. If you're gonna do it, if I can jump in, cannonball.
Jackson says, since Elimination Chamber is in Toronto, I think we could see Kevin versus Sammy there.
We could. That's an option.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen at Mania, but I kind of want them to be on the same side. I don't want them to be against each other necessarily. So, but I don't know. Anyway, as I said on Twitter last night, if you guys follow me, put some respect on JD McDonough's name. Okay. I have been one of his, I don't know, I'm not saying I'm like this massive supporter, but I have been.
Were you there when he was Jordan Devlin?
No. I was there when he was flipping those birds, though. You know what I'm saying to that fan?
I do.
I was there.
Flipping birds with the birds.
And it was over.
Go birds.
So I've been let's say I've been putting JD over on this show since we started the show. Okay, but especially this past year when I like fell in love. Like he serenaded me with his middle fingers, and so his match, okay, I knew that this was going to be a banger. You knew it was going to be. It's the War Raiders and the Judgment Day. JD puts on like incredible matches. It's similar to like Gunther and Drew McIntyre. Like it's always going to be a good match, no matter how long, no matter the circumstances, whatever. And this was a great match. And there was that really scary moment when JD did his backflip off of the turnbuckle to try and hit Ivar on the outside. And unfortunately, he hit his like upper mid back and then also like bounced off his head.
Like that. No, it was like
he hit up.
He broke his rib. Yeah, but
I'm saying like his back hit the edge and then it bounced back and hit his head. So it was like a really scary hit that you kind of were like, okay, this is over, right? Like they're gonna call it. No, the match continued on for like another 10 minutes. You never really would have guessed that like JD was somewhat off, like if you didn't know what happened,
Yeah, if you just tuned in, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't know because that man is an absolute animal. And then there was a picture circulating online that once he got to the back, like right behind the curtain, that he like immediately collapsed, and it was like, oh shit, like something's bad. So eventually, a few hours later, JD posted on Twitter that yeah, he's messed up. He broke a few ribs and he punctured a lung, and now he is going to be out for months because that takes a while to heal from, obviously. And other than the fact that punctured lung is a scary injury,
Terrifying.
bruised ribs, broken ribs is a bitch to heal from. I mean, it's like you can barely just breathe without it hurting. So I'm like, I
It
was,
really
I was,
compares to the hole in your lung.
yeah. Well, but I'm saying like it's a lot, is what I'm saying. Like both
It's
injuries
it's
are
both.
bad.
It's tough to deal with at the same time.
Yeah.
Correct.
So like I'm really happy for him that like he proved to, I don't know, any doubters out there that he is incredible in the ring, and especially now knowing like the seriousness of the injuries that he suffered, the fact that he continued on. I'm just so bummed for him though, because like this could not have happened at a worse time. Damian Priest just got moved to SmackDown, right? Whatever was going to happen with the Judgment Day, we don't even know because Finn wasn't there. Finn was at
Yeah.
the doctor. This was the first Raw without Damien on Raw. It's like we have no idea what they were going to do, and now it's like whatever their plans may have been, we're not going to see it. And I'm just like, that sucks so bad.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's fine because JD McDonough showed what it means to be a WWE superstar last night. That's what this is all about. It sucks about Judgment Day, yeah, as a fan, whatever, but what this unfortunately did was launched him up in the respect to with the locker room, with the higher ups, that he can go. I mean, to come down, I'm recording. I'm recording. Just let me go. So I lost my fucking train of thought.
You said that he was like, this was a good showing for the people in the back and the higher ups.
Yes, like, and that's what's important. It sucks that it came at a cost like this. However, like, to go through what he went through, it wasn't like, yeah, the match came or went about for 15 minutes more, and then he was on the apron for a good portion of it. No, like the man was taking physical bumps,
Yeah.
especially on the injured area. Like, props off to you, and it shows the success of Judgment Day and what it did. Like, it's accomplishing their goal. So
I think so. My concern is more so about like how they weren't using him well when they first called him up. It took a while. Like it was basically once they put him in Judgment Day and then we're really incorporating him into the storyline, that was when we finally got to see like JD every single week, and we were seeing him in matches a lot. So this to me just feels like this is when things were just about to get hot for him, and then he gets injured, similar to like what happened with Pretty Deadly. It was like they were on TV every week, they were getting vignettes, they were getting these like fun segments, and then Elton got hurt, and then it like hasn't been the same since. So that's just my concern, is like I want to believe that all of this was for nothing, not for nothing, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
not for nothing. Yeah.
not for nothing. I want him to be able to come back and like it be a big deal and that he's treated well. Because like those are the type of matches that you want to see all the time. Like if you are an actual fan of professional wrestling, then you don't have to be a fan of JD McDonough to enjoy watching his matches. You know what I mean? So like that's the thing that I'm like hopeful for, but my pessimistic brain feels like I'm going to be proven right, and so I'm trying not
No,
to.
you'll be fine because this is the same man who has been in the same ring as Ilya Dragunov and Walter Gunther, whatever you want to call him. He's on the right path. They see him in a very good light. You can
I
tell.
hope.
And his singles run is going to come. It's just going to take a little bit of a road less traveled, to quote a poet.
Him versus Penta, bro. Don't even
Like, that's the thing. Like, there's a reason he's here. All right, Penta needs people to go against. He's great dance partner.
Nathaniel says, how long do you think he'll be out for? He said a couple months. So
I don't think he may
3 months maybe.
be at he might be at Mania as
A
as just
spectator.
or what's it, meet and greets,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. This isn't super big news, but I also thought it was interesting. So they're still making these moves with the transfer window open, and they announced last night that Zelina Vega is being moved to SmackDown, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that they still need to make a couple more moves. This is the thing though, right? We've been talking about how stacked the women's division is on SmackDown. So yeah, I guess if you're thinking about it from that perspective, maybe it's not great to be adding another person over there. And
Okay.
typically, over the past 2 years, the draft has come after Mania, so it seems silly to be making any drastic moves right now with Mania. Right around the corner. But I do think that they still need to move some people from some women specifically from SmackDown to Raw. But we'll have to see, obviously, also what happens at the Rumble, because we might be getting Becky back. Jordan Grace might be, I think she would be a solid one for Raw.
Raw,
So
absolutely.
maybe that'll kind of even things out a little bit. But we're also gonna need a few, they're gonna have to do something with the mid card specifically, because who's Lyra gonna be going after? You know what I mean? You just got rid of somebody that could have been in the women's intercontinental picture. So I would have to look at the SmackDown women's roster to be like, oh, maybe this person could move. But yeah,
Blair Davenport, where the fuck is she?
I don't know.
She would be a perfect person to come over to Raw.
It's so unfortunate. That's the thing that I hate is why even bother calling these people up if you don't have any plans to use them? Leave them in NXT. Because there are some people where it's okay, maybe they stayed in NXT too long. But if they're in NXT too long and they're still getting put on TV, then who cares? It's better, I would say, if you're a wrestler, to be in that position than be in catering every week on SmackDown. So I don't know.
It's just sad because I think Blair Davenport would be a great addition to PFC, Pure Fusion Collective.
Oh.
Add her a little bit, kick out whatever, and then have them feud with Lyra.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Work.
It's possible. I feel like she's kind of on a Zelina Vega type level where it's not going to be super shocking breaking news, but it's still oh, okay. It would make sense if she got moved. I don't know. Then we also see Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio. And before this we see
awesome.
that backstage segment with Kofi, Xavier, and Kathy Kelly, which was her shining moment of comedy. And that's when Xavier revealed oh yeah, my family's going to be here. I bought tickets. It wasn't cheap, blah, blah, blah. And then that story continues when they're out there in the middle of the match. His family is not there for quite a bit. And then they finally show up and they unveil their t-shirt, which also happens to be a New Day t-shirt.
New Day socks.
Yes.
New.
And because of that distraction, Rey Mysterio is able to win. So they're really... the thing that I think is the funniest thing about this, right, is so many people, us included, were a little bit skeptical about how good a potential turn of the New Day would be. And they haven't even really done that much. If we're being honest,
they haven't done shit.
Yeah, since the whole thing happened with Big E, they haven't really done anything to get them hated more. That was enough for people to boo them and chant that they suck every single week, which I think is huge.
That's more significant. That's way more significant.
Yeah.
They got the reaction that you want to get when you're maybe step 3 into the process, and I don't even think we are even done with step 1. We have not heard new music.
No.
Their ring gear is very generic.
Bland. Yeah.
It's very generic with just the black pants and the no shirt. Kofi changing his beard. Yeah, that's a change. It signifies something, but I need more than just a beard change. So we're only at the end of step 1 to me, and getting the entire family, even Lil Yachty is like, fuck the
Yeah.
New Day.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And it's going to take some time. Just be patient.
It's just I'm still surprised about it because like I mean you kind of knew that Big E was like universally loved by everybody.
Oh
Like
my God,
nobody
I
can
love
hate
him.
Big E. And
I
there's
gave him
not
a
that
piece
many
of-
people that can accomplish that. You know what I mean? Like in
No.
wrestling. So you knew that if they decide to turn on him, like people are going to boo, but I don't think anybody could have anticipated that that segment alone would still be garnering this type of reaction however many
Yeah,
weeks
right.
later. Like for this to be the first time that Kofi and Xavier are truly bad guys on the main roster and like exploring this whole other side of their character, and they're still getting this kind of reaction is insane. And it's like I kind of want to see where else they can go with it, or what, like how deep they can go with them being mean or vile or hated,
Mhm.
just to see like how far can they go, because I feel like if you're going to have them turn, you need to really turn them. And if Big E is not going to really be around to like add more fuel to the fire, then I want to see like, okay, who else are you going to like do something to, or how can you get me to hate you more than I do?
They need to keep losing. I hate to be that guy, but we don't need to see the New Day win for a long
Yeah.
time. And by doing that, it's only going to make them be stronger heels. They're going to be annoying. They're going to be whiny. They're going to just be in your face when you don't want them even on the show.
Mhm.
So for them to keep losing, and last night that when Ray beat him, it's got to be done by interference. You need to have some sort of BS interference that isn't heel interference. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's the heel getting in the heel's way,
Mhm.
and that's the interference. You need stuff like that. From the family coming out last minute with those shirts is a perfect example of that, because Ray didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Ray's just the hero.
Yeah.
You know, you get more heat on the New Day because even Xavier Woods' family in his hometown
Mhm.
think the New Day suck. And you have a celebrity jumping on the bandwagon. You hit the trifecta.
Yeah.
So keep it rolling
Yeah.
and let's see where it goes.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued by it because I'm, like I said, I'm still like shocked it's even happening, but it's cool. Then we have Jay Uso. Sorry to the chat that won't like this, but I mean, come on, this was a waste of 10 minutes. This was such a waste of time.
I'm gonna let you just go on a rant about this because I don't want to say it because I love my guy. But Sarah, I kind of agree.
Okay.
I didn't like what purpose did it serve? Did he just talk and left? I don't
All
like
he
if it's for the fans, I fucking love it, but I don't.
that's
not
all it
the fan.
was.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
that's the
there.
thing, like I don't I'm not even shitting on just Jay Uso, right? This could have been CM Punk and I would have been saying the same thing. Like we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
need this like big extravagant thing announcement that you're going to be in the Royal Rumble. Like I did not need to see
Did we
Jay
already
Uso
know
have
he's in the?
I know.
I thought he
That
was
was
already in
basic
the Royal Rumble.
Jay Uso, I don't know. That's all he came out and said was like, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble and I'm going to win. And it was like, okay, brother, why did I just sit here and watch everyone yeet for 10 minutes? You know, like I did not need to see that at all. I mean, I understand why they want him on TV, why they want him to have an entrance, why they want him there. I get it. You want the crowd reaction. People came to see Jay Uso, so you want to give that to them. 1,000%. But you also could have done that when the show was over, and it would have had the exact same reaction. We did not need to see a 10-minute entrance of him, like of him playing the song like 3 times until he finally spoke.
He's all heat out. He's all heated
Yeah,
out.
and then it was just basically like, I'm gonna win the Rumble. Okay,
Well, Sarah, we
cool.
got to make Rikishi happy.
I
All
mean,
right.
wonderful. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing is like, like you're a big Jey Uso fan. I was even seeing other Jey Uso fans online, and they were just like, "What was the point of that? Like, that could have been a backstage segment. What are we doing?"
No, like I'm serious. Like Jey Uso is the man,
Yeah,
but
but
I
that wasn't
I
it.
I I would have liked something else.
Yeah.
I would have liked another segment.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Or what it ended up impacting was Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez didn't even get a
Oh,
proper
oh,
entrance.
well, I mean, I was disappointed. I love when Liv comes out. Okay,
Yeah, of course
I'm
you
a
do.
fan of I'm a fan of Liv Morgan's entrance.
Yeah, no, you're a fan of. Okay. Yeah,
I'm
you're
a
a fan
fan
of.
of beautiful women.
Okay.
Sorry, what? Sue
Well,
me.
so but that's what I'm saying is like that. What Jay did was so unnecessary that then the last women's world champion didn't even get an entrance. That's what I'm saying. Like,
It
what is
ridiculous.
happening? I'm not going to go on a tangent about Liv Morgan this week because that really pissed me off, and I don't like what they're doing with her. But and I think okay, you know what? No, I'm going to go on. So
You're gonna say it.
I'm not going to go on a full
You
blown tangent. But what I'm going to say
you're
is
going to go on a full blown tangent.
no.
Okay.
So I don't love what they're doing since she lost the championship. Like, first of all, I'm not happy that she lost the title. I didn't think she should have. I didn't think that Rhea needed it right now. Whatever. But what I don't love is that they're immediately having her like forget that she lost the title to Rhea, that she technically could have a rematch, and like she just doesn't care about the world title anymore. And they're just immediately having her shift to, oh yeah, me and Raquel are gonna go for the women's tag titles. Like, I don't hate that idea just because they were tag champions before and they had to vacate them because of injury and whatever. So like cool, we're revisiting this like a year later or whatever it is. But I think that the way they could have addressed this, and they kind of have, but they didn't do it in a super effective way. So that's the thing that I have an issue with is, you know, we heard from Liv about, I think it was the week after she lost the title, and she said, you know, this whole thing, the Liv Morgan revenge tour, it wasn't all about being the women's world champion. It wasn't about the championship. It was about taking something from Rhea that she couldn't get back. And obviously part of that was you took the title, you took Dominic, you took Judgment Day, you did all this, right? So she did that. And if that is the mindset that we have to adapt and be like, okay, that is what Liv is doing now, that's fine. But you need her to voice that more instead of just expecting me to take that one like 5 seconds that she said it and remember that forever, because otherwise it doesn't make sense why she's not doing anything with Rhea anymore, why she's not demanding a rematch, why she, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we need to be so, like, it needs to be overfed to us for us to be like, okay, no, cool, like we get it, yeah, because like she did do more damage to Rhea than just the world championship. Who cares that Rhea has the title? Liv still has Dominic. Liv still has Judgment Day. Like, she still, as you know, Rhea's now on her own because Damian got moved to SmackDown. I could be way more happy with what Liv is doing now if that was just explained to us better, if that makes sense.
To me, I take this pretty much exactly what you're saying, but also with a little bit more attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the last time that Liv and Raquel tagged together? They were tag team champions,
Mm-hmm.
and they never lost the titles.
Right.
They never lost the titles. So to me, this is just them being healthy at the same time again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little lull. Well, let's say in kayfabe, Raquel's like, you know, we never lost those tag titles, so let's go after them. Like, if you have that mindset of that's the progression of the story and why it makes sense, then it gives a little bit more credit to what Liv is doing, because she solidified herself as a world champion, a main eventer, exactly what you need to be doing at this stage of the game. And at this point, she just needs to be on the WrestleMania card. You know, that's the next step for her. It's just to be on the card in a match. What better way to be in a championship match with Raquel, who, I don't know if you knew this, but they're a lot closer than people
Oh yeah.
know. So to main event, or not main event, excuse me, that's one tag team. To have a match at WrestleMania with one of your best friends in the industry, that's another little check you can check in the bucket list, you know? So
Yeah.
check off the bucket list, I mean. So you got to think of it like that, because if you do, you're going to get yourself pissed. And yeah, that's
Well,
what
and that's fine. Like I said, I would be more accepting of this if we just had more of an explanation as to why she just doesn't care about the championship anymore, because
yeah.
that's not how
She's
they
bigger
behave
than the
usually.
championship.
And like that, the championship was like a huge part of her story over this past year, and now we're just supposed to be like, oh, she lost it, she doesn't care, whatever, we're moving on. Like, no, that's not usually how people react when they lose a
No.
championship. So I just wish that they were treating her a little bit better, but we'll see. But anyway, we don't have to go into super deep into this, but I was just gonna say they did hype the women's Rumble match a little bit more, with Rhea and her backstage interview with Bayley coming in and being like, I'm coming for you. And then when Bayley tried to leave, Io Sky was there. So they're definitely trying to like get you excited about the potential matchups that could result from the Rumble or even during the Rumble, because we know the storied history between Bayley and Io Sky. So it's going to be interesting to be like, okay, you know, last year Bayley won the Rumble and she chose to face Io and won the championship from her. So that's going to be fun to watch. And I mean, we have no idea who the women's Rumble winner will choose, but they're definitely trying to get you excited about the potential of who could ultimately choose Rhea.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, because I see that.
I think they have to choose Rhea anyway, as I've said. I
I'm
think
trying to
that
decide. It's because Tiffy is just in my mind and everything. It's Charlotte. Like, she's
I
facing
need
Charlotte
Charlotte
at
to win the
WrestleMania.
Elimination Chamber to face Tiffany.
You can't always get what you want, Mick Jagger.
I know, but like the thing is like two things. One, there's only been like 6 Rumbles, women's Rumbles. Charlotte's already
Yeah.
won one of them. Do we really need her to win another one? No. Like,
I
no,
just
it's
don't see who else is gonna win the women's Royal Rumble.
Well, that's why I'm saying it could be somebody to face. I said Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace wins the Rumble and challenges Rhea Ripley. We get Rhea versus Jordan Grace at Mania. That's what I'm talking about. But I also think that people will.
That. I don't hate that at all.
I know. So I think that people are going to be pissed if Charlotte comes back and automatically is put in the women's title picture like right away, because it's a joke online, but it's not a joke. It's like that literally is
a joke everyone's in on.
Yes, and it's because it's the
Yeah.
truth, you know? And so I think that if the ultimate goal is to get her to be against Tiffany at WrestleMania, that means she has to come back as a heel, because no one is going to boo Tiffany for Charlotte Flair. It's just not it's not happening. So I think
I'll be on Tiffy time until Las Vegas.
So I think that the easiest way for people to be more accepting of that match is if Charlotte actually earned her way to get that match against Tiffany by going into the Elimination Chamber and taking out 4 other women or whoever, right? Like, I think that is the way to get people to be like, okay, like, I don't think she should have another title match, especially at Mania, but if she's going to get it, at least she earned it, instead of it just like, what if she comes out at 30 at the Rumble and then we're like, oh, she won, and it's like,
that would be some 2015 Roman shit.
And that's what I mean. Like, I guess like
Awful.
they could try to ease
So
into
bad.
that and like have that be what she goes off of to like launch her villain era. But I also feel like we've been there, done that. You don't really need to have that be her villain era when people are going to boo her anyway if she gets another title match. So it's like, I would rather see her like have to work her butt off through the Elimination Chamber to get it. You know?
Nathaniel actually has a good comment. I actually want to say that because this is a good idea. What about Io winning? I'd be for it. Why not?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't know that I love it either. You know what I mean?
I want to see Rhea Io. If we're gonna see who's gonna pick Rhea, if that's it,
I want to see Jordan Grace versus Rhea.
I do too, but I also would love to see
Jade Cargill versus Rhea.
Well, Jade Cargill is still finding her attacker.
Maybe she comes back in the Rumble and faces off against them in the Rumble match.
Do you think that WWE is that on the ball that they would soft launch the attacker of Jade Cargill in the women's Rumble match?
Yes. I
So, like,
think they're
Jade
getting.
comes out and like see, like, I'll give you an example, like Jade's music hits, she's like number 17,
Mm-hmm.
Naomi's in the ring,
Or
and like Jade
Bianca.
Cargill,
Mhm.
whoever,
Mm-hmm.
and just stand in the ring and like she like doesn't even have to point, but like a little like stare, like
Mm-hmm.
and then
Or it could
boom,
be
right
like, "Oh my
after,
God, girl, I missed you," and then, you know.
yeah, like something like that. Like
I
I think they could. I think
I
we could
think
see
they
something like
could, and I
that.
think they almost should. I mean, we still have SmackDown, so we don't know. But I think that this whole thing of like who took out Jade is it's going on too long. Like people are checking out, so like something needs to happen where we need to see like, okay, what is the end game or what's the next chapter in this? Because I don't care right now. You know, I think we're getting to that point where they have to do something, and the Rumble
Have
is
to.
like the perfect place to do that, right? So,
Is this the most excited you've been for a Royal Rumble in like a long time?
I don't know if I would say a long time, but I think in a while. And part of it is because I think, you know, if we're going to even talk about just last year, we basically knew what was probably going to happen from last year, even though a lot changed. We kind of knew
We
what
the
the
fans
original story was going to be.
Mhm.
Especially with Cody coming back, and we all knew he was going to be like number 30 or whatever he was, you know. I like
Mhm.
that there's a lot more unpredictability to this year's
Way more.
Rumble, and like there's a lot of scenarios that could happen. And I don't know that there's anything that I'm really like, oh, I have to see this or I'm going to be pissed off. Like I don't know that I have any like dream situation of like, oh, I need these two people to win the Rumble because I have
Mhm.
to see these matches. I don't feel that way.
No, I don't. I think that's what makes it that much more exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that I have no idea who's gonna fucking win.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no idea. Jackson agrees he has Io winning, but his dark horse is Jordan Grace. I think if we see Tiffany versus Charlotte at Mania, Tiffany's not losing. They can't do it. I also think that they're going to have to be very careful with what they do with Charlotte, because if we are going to see the inevitable 17th title reign for John Cena, you cannot have Charlotte right behind him
Like
because
chasing his coattails.
she's at 14 or 15 right now. So if they like make it, you know, that she wins her 15th or her 16th and she's like right behind him, that makes Cena not as significant in my opinion, because then you're also going to be hyping up, oh, the woman too. No, because Cena becoming 17 means that he's like the winningest wrestler ever, man and woman. So like you then can't have Charlotte right behind him, because then it doesn't look like Cena accomplished something significant. You know what I mean? So I don't think that they would have her win over Tiffany. Anyway, okay. Then moving on to if you don't have ads on Netflix, you got to see this. If you're like one of the other...
so that's what I fucking missed.
Yeah.
So I came home and rewatched it because I thought I missed it because I thought I was a bad fan.
No, yeah,
And
I know.
it was just because I'm not a bad fan. I'm not a smart fan.
If you pay the extra for no ads, you would have seen this.
Or VPN.
Yeah. That's
We
the
will
thing
use
that I hate
VPN.
about this is that everybody in the US has ads unless you pay the extra, but everybody outside of the US doesn't have ads. And so it doesn't, like, your biggest audience is the one that you're punishing the most. But whatever. I wouldn't care if they just did like these random things, you know, and that's what we missed. It's more so of like, we missed a huge segment of Penta and Braun Breaker and like the potential setup of them having a feud and Penta going for the Intercontinental title. That is what you decided we didn't need to see?
Well, it's because their logic is going to be, we got a video package from Penta earlier in the night. So
it's because they want us to pay more.
Time.
That's the problem.
Well,
Netflix
we're
wants
the country
us to pay.
Who has it.
Yeah.
We're the country who has it,
So I do think this is great because the first 2 weeks, we got formally introduced to Penta. in 2 really good matches. And I think, his third week on the show is a good time, I would say, for him to kind of be like, all right, shifting his focus to actually having a story, a feud, an opponent that's not just like, oh, you're going to go against this guy. And I love that it's the Intercontinental Championship, because I feel like they've been doing Braun Breaker super dirty with this title reign since he took it back from Jey Uso. And I think that's really unfortunate, because there's no reason for him to be as stagnant as he is. But him having a banger match with Penta, cool. I'm into it. So
I don't need to add on. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I would yes, give it to me now. I want to
Yeah.
see Cero Miedo. Like I want
Yeah.
to see him try to hit Braun with that. Is it called the striker or stretcher or something? The arm. We stretch the arm back, like hit him with that, so Braun can maybe not hit the spear. Like, this you could do a lot.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with those two.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be really good. Obviously, I hope that we see more of that, like actually during Raw and not during a commercial on Raw next week. Or maybe they come face to face at the Rumble, and that is a way that we can be like, oh, okay, let's see how this is gonna start. Yeah, I just hope that this doesn't continue to be something that you have to have no ads to see it, because this would be great. I can't read. Dieth dead? Okay. He said this is a
I don't know what
1,000% banger match. Banger.
What if he's talking about us being a cash cow?
Maybe.
Like that would be pretty cool.
Okay.
I think we are.
I assumed he was talking about
I think we're
and Braun Breaker.
Maybe.
I know, this is the thing. The Netflix debut is now going to be a month ago, and we still haven't barely seen Braun Breaker. He was there one night. What was it, on the Netflix debut? He was in the audience, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, he's Chef Sheamus.
But it's like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? That's your Intercontinental Champion.
He pushed.
You really took it off of him to give it to Jey Uso so he could say that he had won a singles title. What are we doing? Anyway, moving on to Mr. Paul Heyman. He made his way out to the ring. No music, no nothing. It's good. And he was there.
That's Paul Heyman.
Yeah, that's Paul Heyman. And he was there to introduce us, or to show, reveal, whatever, to the new WWE 2K25 cover, which is Roman Reigns and little Mr. Heyman down in the corner. And I thought it was very odd that Roman Reigns was not there. Now, I don't know if that was Roman's choice. I don't know if that was like creative's choice. My immediate bias goes to it was Roman's choice. Because Roman didn't like to show up for anything when he was.
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to.
Barely shows up now. But I did think so the reason why it was weird, it's not just because he's on the cover and he didn't unveil it. Let's not forget, after his match against Solo Sikoa on the Netflix debut, he was in the back and they showed him being like, January 27th, blah blah blah, and he goes into his locker room and on the door is WWE 2K. So like, he hyped us up for January 27th.
Yeah, this was alley-oop.
Yeah, and then he wasn't there. I think that's weird.
Well, he was there. That he's on the cover.
No, but he wasn't there to say.
That's what I'm thinking.
Stop making excuses.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I don't know.
It was weird.
It's very weird, but still. I mean, do I care? No, really. I understand. We got Paul Heyman. That's all I want to see. I want to see Paul Heyman interact with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that this is almost slightly rivaling Jey Uso's 10-minute entrance, that we didn't need to see this. Like, the unveiling of the cover in this like huge way is just so not necessary. Like, I just don't know that people care that much that we need to have this like giant banner drop with like fireworks and stuff. No, we don't need that, but it is what it is, because then we got Drew McIntyre, who came up and he had a few things to say to Mr. Paul Heyman. And what I loved about this was Paul immediately was just like, all right, Drew, I will go and tell my tribal chief what you said. And Drew is like, no. That's not who I was talking to. I was talking to your boy CM Punk. And that is when Paul's face changed, because I'm like, he immediately remembered like, oh shit, I'm still connected to him. Everybody saw our little conversation at Survivor Series. People know I owe him a favor, which is, I mean, Drew asked him for a favor last night too. Don't think that was a coincidence. And I don't know. I felt like I liked Drew's insertion into this because that didn't have to be something, but the fact that he has issues with CM Punk, obviously has major issues with Roman Reigns. I felt like that was pretty cool. And I don't know. So this is interesting, and I feel it puts Paul in quite a predicament because who's he going to be more loyal to? Is he going to side with Punk, or is he going to follow through with that favor that Punk asked of him? Because assuming that Punk does not win the Rumble, Punk is going to want a match with Roman
Reigns.
Yeah. And I don't know that it has to be for the title, because when he said he wanted that favor, it wasn't for the title. So because Cody was the champion. But I feel like that this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, because obviously the bloodline storyline is like dead. Whatever Roman's doing is dead. Punk is like has his fingers in like 10 different stories. So I feel like this, I don't know, this is kind of an under the radar like story to watch, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those B stories that you really gotta be paying attention to the details, because Drew McIntyre is incredible in this type of stuff. We see with the Punk feud, there's already the connection that he had with the Punk feud to begin with. Why is he going to go back after Punk again? Why does, it's little stuff like that that intrigues. It's like, all right, how is Paul Heyman? Like, how did something of Paul Heyman unveiling the cover for 2K end up in Drew McIntyre asking him for a favor? Just interesting.
I like it, though. I like that Drew is getting involved in other things, because he's also kind of in between stories and feuds right now, with no real clear direction. And I don't think that that's necessarily bad. I think that we're going to get more clarity for a lot of things from the Rumble and whatever happens after that, obviously with Elimination Chamber as well. So we'll kind of understand where people are going. But I do think it's like not a bad idea for people to have stuff going on with multiple people, because that kind of does contribute to us sitting here and not knowing who is going to win the Rumble. What are the Mania matches going to be? Who's going to be facing for the championship? Like, we have no idea. And part of that, as I said, is because of stuff like this. It's also because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
It is also because Cody Rhodes and oh my God, I have to tell you, when when Drew versus Sammy was over, I turned the TV off because I thought that the show was over. That was the main event. So I turned it off. And then my friend is like messaging me about like more stuff, being like, LOL Punk. Oh, here comes. And I'm like, what are you? I'm like, the show's not over. And he's like, no, you're missing like a really good segment. I was like, oh my God. So I had to turn it back on because I was like, oh, it's the main event.
You got rickrolled.
Yeah, I did.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I did too. I'll put it out there.
Yeah. Well, because like you knew that Cody was going to be talked to, but we already saw him and whatever. So I was like, okay, that must be it. And so once the main event was over,
I did see this. Wait, I did see this.
What?
Punk came out and talked to Cody.
I know, I missed it. I
did see this. Oh no, I saw this. This segment. Okay. Yeah. No, I saw it.
I saw the like last like 2 minutes of it, and then I had to go back and rewatch it. But this, okay, on a related note, but somewhat unrelated, this has me so excited when Cody Rhodes goes back to being a heel, because oh my God, that is his roots. Okay, if that ever happens, I think
so. He's so good as a babyface. He's very good.
So good. And people just the thing is that's why I tweeted, because I'm such a petty fan. I said the second that he turns heel, I need y'all to jump off the bandwagon, because y'all are not real Cody Rhodes fans. Because if you were real Cody Rhodes fans, you would have been fucking with him since he was a heel back in 2009. But none of you were there. Okay.
Were you not 2009 when he was teaming with Damian Sandow, and they were the Rhodes
No,
Scholars.
that was not 2009, brother.
I know it wasn't, but I'm well aware it wasn't 2009.
2008,
I'm saying he was that.
2009. He was with Hardcore Holly. He was tag teaming with Hardcore Holly.
Sarah, I understand that. I'm saying he was an incredible heel I'm pretty sure it was 2016 with Damian Sandow as the Rhodes Scholars. So
yes,
that's my example.
But I'm talking about 7 years before that, brother.
Okay. I
In
just would like my
Legacy.
voice to be heard.
But that's all I'm saying. Anyway, so this just made me excited because I was like, oh, he could be such a good heel because it could be just like, I mean, I don't watch Homelander, so I can't say that. That's what everybody says. But I do feel like as good of a good guy as he can also be just as good as a bad guy, just like the complete opposite. Like everything that he is doing right now, like catering to the fans and being like happy-go-lucky and like I'm just happy to be here. Like he can just flip that on a switch and just be the complete opposite. But that aside, I loved this interaction between him and Punk because this has been an idea that people have talked about for Mania, that maybe Punk wins the Rumble or he doesn't win the Rumble, but maybe he earns the right to challenge Cody at Mania for the title, whether that be just because or through the Elimination Chamber. I don't know. But I do like that Cody like put him in his place and like let him know like you're chasing me. I'm not chasing you anymore. I've already main evented WrestleMania. I've already been the champion at WrestleMania. I am the guy that you want to be. Our roles have reversed. And Punk did not like that. But Punk was served some hard truth on this show. First from Sammy and then from Cody. And I am here for it because I think that there's a lot of interesting things that can come out of like all of this. And Punk has a lot going on right now, which is a lot more interesting than we could say what was going on with him a year ago. The most fascinating thing that came out from a year ago was him getting accidentally injured, you know? But leading into the Rumble, his only beef was, are him and Seth really on bad terms? You know, we still weren't certain yet.
There's a lot of potential for CM Punk come WrestleMania season. It's got to the point where I even am feeling more of a CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes than John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Like that's where my mind's at, and it's like I don't know. I didn't think I would think that after last night, but after what's been said, you know, the graveyard comment, the ghost chasing you, just like little tags like that, like really make you hit, like it hits there, and I didn't expect to feel that. Watching them go back and forth, I thought it'd just be another way for them to promote the Rumble and whatever. But no, you could take this and roll with it for sure.
Well, and that's the thing. Like this could be the hero versus the anti-hero. You know, the basis of their story. I don't hate the idea of Punk versus Cody for that reason because they have had a similar path. You know, like. In some ways, obviously they were in WWE, they were unhappy, they eventually left and they went to the other company and like eventually left because they weren't happy there and now they're back and you never thought that either would ever be back. Granted, Punk has reached the mountaintop and Cody hadn't until he came back. But I don't know that I need to see Punk win the Rumble for that to happen. And part of the reason why is I feel like storyline potential, there's a lot more that they can build toward, like through an Elimination Chamber match or something like that, to determine who to face Cody rather than who would face Gunther. I feel like the easiest way to determine who's going to face Gunther at Mania is feeding him the Royal Rumble winner. Because he doesn't have like a lot of storyline connection or feuds or anything with anybody really. Like I know they tried to do it with like Seth and Logan on Monday, but that just started. That's not like deep rooted or anything. No. I mean Gunther won the title from Damian Priest. Logan Paul just shows up and demands title matches, so like it's not that deep. So it feels like they could build something deep based on who wins the Rumble. And then whatever happens, you know, for the other title. I mean, they could do it either way, but I feel like it'll be easier to come up with somebody to face Cody And my concern, of course, always is like Gunther deserves to have a proper feud and storyline and like a legitimate thing going into Mania. And so, however they can build that up, whether that is him against the winner or from the Elimination Chamber, I don't care as long as it happens. I'm not as concerned about Cody and how he'll fare after the Rumble, you know?
No, I'm not worried about where Cody's going to fall because whatever program he's going to be doing is going to be main event. It's going to be WrestleMania main event worthy for sure.
Oh, yeah. So it'll be interesting because there's a lot. I mean, they've teased a lot. I mean, they've even teased him versus Roman. I mean, that was something that Paul Heyman said when Roman declared for the Rumble. He said that we're coming for Cody Rhodes. So there's that. There's Punk. There's Seth Rollins. There's Sami Zayn. There's Kevin Owens. Like, we don't know. There's a lot of people in here. So it's fascinating. Let's see. Jackson says, to me, Cena is winning the Rumble is too predictable. Why is he advertised for the Chamber too? Yeah, I don't think he's winning. I think he could win the Chamber. I still think that it doesn't matter what happens. I think we're seeing Cena win 17 eventually, but not at first. Like you said, like we've talked about, where he's gonna lose or he's gonna just barely miss.
Yeah,
winning 17. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think he might win. I don't know. I like that. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I just zoned out there for a minute.
Okay.
I'm just, yeah.
Micah said he had a question for me. He said, could the favor between Punk and Heyman be that if the final two in the Rumble come down to Punk and Roman, that Heyman must help Punk by dumping out Roman Reigns? Maybe co-winners, Roman and Punk, leads to a Mania 1v1 main event night 1. Winner fights Cody night 2. Ooh.
Why co-winners? Why no?
But okay,
Get
but wait.
the fuck out of here with co-winners.
No, wait. This is not horrible.
I don't like it.
Because Roman still main events Mania. Punk main events, probably 2 nights of Mania, because I assume that Punk has to win. I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I know that a lot of people won't like it though. People don't like co-winners. They don't like like triple threats and stuff like that. So
do you remember the last time the Royal Rumble had a co-winner? As
it was an accident, wasn't it? Cena Batista?
Nope. It was planned. It was Lex Luger and Bret Hart.
Wait.
WrestleMania 10.
What happened with Cena and Batista? Who was the winner?
No, deadass. That was accidental.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought that
started the match because it was so accidental.
Oh, okay.
And Vince is so pissed.
I know.
Blew his quads, diving in the ring.
Oh yeah.
Yell at Batista and Cena. Blows his quads out and is just sitting there, just like a little toddler, just screaming, being like, "You're gonna do this and you're gonna do that."
What's insane is that was real.
Oh no, that was
that
was as curtains open as you can get. That is something the fans should never see. And you got that moment. It just so happens that moment also is one of the now funniest moments in history when Vince McMahon blows both his quads, sliding into the ring to enter the room.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
karma, bro, that's crazy.
When I've heard Batista tell that story, and holy shit,
didn't Cena tell it too recently?
Cena and Batista's recounts of that are just absolutely incredible because he's so mad. Like it is Vince McMahon hulking out. And he's so angry that he pops his you can't write this shit.
How is that even possible? Like when you actually think about it, like how do you blow both quads from just running into the ring or like walking
sliding?
Yeah,
you have to have that much tension. That's what I mean. Like you have to have that much tension in your body that when you go and jump or
those butt cheeks were clenched hard,
so hard, and then they popped.
Cortez says the favorite is CM Punk gets number 30. Interesting.
No, that's okay.
Not bad. I still kind of want to see it be like him. You have to give me a match against Roman, but
you want some match
because I still think that has a chance to potentially be a main event. Because that's the thing, we've talked about it. we might be getting to the point where Punk is going to have to determine what is more important to him. Main eventing a WrestleMania or being the champion at WrestleMania. Because where he's getting up there in age, he's going to be, 47 this year? Like, he's not going to be kicking around and, like, chilling, wrestling for that much longer. So, like, it's possible that if he decides he wants to go against Roman Reigns, if that's what this year is, it's possible that could be main event night 1, right? That satisfies that desire to main event of WrestleMania. But does it matter that it's not for a title? That would be something that he would have to figure out, because if it does matter, then he's going to have to try to make that relevant for next year, So,
Correct.
but anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw. And don't have to wait to see us. Don't have to wait till Thursday to see us, because we're back tomorrow for our Royal Rumble predictions on the Super Show, and then guest appearance over a Ringside Rant, courtesy of our peeps over at Stadium Rant. So hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live. And follow us on all social media platforms down below at Patty Pitts on Twitter. New account. All right. I need followers. We got 19. All right. That's a sad number. There's a sad number from my 1,200 I had before. I don't care if they're mostly bots. So go follow me, follow Sara, and subscribe to the show. And until tomorrow, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you tomorrow.